week before the draft, what does a head coach do right now, week before draft?
You really have kind of your thought process of what you'd like to see happen. You played out different scenarios in your mind, and now you just want to be sure what's going to take place and where you're going to go. I remember coming up to the 2006 draft right about this time. It was kind of a week before the draft. Edgerrin James had signed in free agency with Arizona. We pretty much knew we were going to take a running back. I think we were picking 29th, and who's going to be there. And you go through all these different scenarios. And for us, it was Joseph Adai, Maurice Jones-Drew, Lawrence Maroney. We're going to get one of these guys. What if they're all there? What if none of them are there? What if people call you and two of them are there and you can trade down? What if a run goes on running backs? Do we need to trade up? Those are the kind of things you start to think about in this last month. But you kind of have your eye on 4 or 5 guys in those first 3 rounds.
Did Peyton Manning ever give 2 cents on this subject? Because I obviously
Not really.
Never.
Not really. He obviously had his thoughts, and he'd want to know who was good, who we were looking at, but it was never a type of thing where he'd come in and say, oh, we ought to take this guy. Now, he'd have thoughts on free agency. I remember when Brandon Stokely became available, and he pounded the table. Hey, this guy, I've thrown to him at the passing academy. He'll be a perfect slot receiver for us. Guys that he had played against and been around. But as far as the draft, he kind of left that up to Bill.
Well, I mean, and so what is what would be the sensitivities of this? Because clearly Peyton Manning knows football, and clearly you want to keep your guy happy, and clearly you want to have him feel included, as opposed to let us handle this, Peyton, and you play football. I mean, he's more than just that.
I don't think we ever went that route, but I think in his mind, he understood that we were going to put the team together. We were going to get him weaponry, and we were going to get good people. And I think he trusted Bill that way, and may have had some conversations with him. But he really trusted the process and felt like we were going to get quality people and good people. So there wasn't a whole lot of conversation before the draft. Now, as soon as we picked the guy, now he wanted to know everything. What about him? What's his phone number? When can I get to him? I remember, my last year coaching, we drafted Anthony Gonzalez. Ohio State was, on that system where they don't get out of school until June. So he was, without even talking to us, he drove 2 times a week to Columbus from Indianapolis, took the playbook up there, went over with Anthony, threw balls, drove back, and he did everything in his power to make sure he was ready for training camp. So, yeah, once we got guys, he was all on board.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.